We're looking at Matthew today. So the next book would be Mark after Matthew that we see in order with how our Bibles are laid out. So Mark was writing to a Roman audience, believed to be the eyewitness account of Peter. And this was written at a time when there was a heavy Roman servant or slave population. And so this was written with a heavy Roman reader in mind. And so the working class within the Roman Republic at the time was very huge. It was very large. And what Mark does is Mark's account shows that Jesus as the perfect servant. And so there's something about a perfect servant, and there's something about a servant in those times is that they have no genealogy. And so this may be quite possibly why in Mark's gospel, why we don't see a genealogy in Mark's gospel. Mark's gospel is a very rapid progression of time and events. It's very quick, it's very rapid. In Luke's account, which comes after Mark, again, remember this is written from multiple people, multiple individuals' eyewitness testimony. It is a very detailed historical account. Luke is a historian of the first degree, of the highest order. And what this shows is this shows Jesus as the Son of Man. Luke's genealogy traces all the way back to Adam. Luke shows how Jesus was man. Jesus was not just God who did not experience the same things, did not go through the same things. Luke shows Jesus as and how humanity was what God intended to be, and all the way from the very beginning. So not just at that time, or not just from Abraham, but all the way from the beginning, all the way there in the garden, all the way tracing back. Jesus faced the same tempter as Adam, and he did not sin. Jesus placed a high importance on prayer, and that is a very important example even for us. That is for man, that we place a very high importance and rely on God's wisdom and for his revealing steps for our day. And so that's what prayer does. If we looked at Jesus, and remember, Luke accounts very thoroughly that what was common for Jesus was to get away and to seek the Father daily, about what his day was to look like, about what his day was to be filled with. And not allowing the world, not allowing the markets, not allowing the lack of fish being caught, so therefore the fish prices are going to rise, and therefore we need to do something with housing prices and all these things. Not letting that be the controlling focus of where your wisdom and your revealing steps for your day comes from. But the wisdom and the revealing steps for your day, they come from spending time with the Lord. And so Jesus placed a very high importance on this. God's plan extends beyond the scope of the descendants of Abraham. And so that's what Luke points out. We all have the same offer of salvation, and that offer comes only from Jesus. Then the next after Luke is John. And so John's emphasis on his gospel is showing that Jesus is God, the deity of Jesus. There is some overlap of miracles with the different miracles from John in the different gospel writings and the different events of Jesus' life, with a heavy emphasis on Jesus as God. So Jesus' deity. John's genealogy, so John does have a genealogy, and John's genealogy goes and points to Jesus who existed from the beginning of time, John 1:1. So there is no greater genealogy than that. And this shows and points out that Jesus is eternal. He is not created, as many New Age philosophies teach. He is not created. He is not the created one, not the first created one, but everything was created through and from and by him.